What's up, world? This is Yuri, aka Russian Prototype, coming to you live from Tampa, Florida this time. Thank you, everyone, for joining live if you're watching us live. And thank you for everyone who choose to watch it later on. Look, today we have a very juicy topic. And the topic is it possible for men and women to be friends? I'm really excited to get into this particular topic and, show you some videos today. Hear your thoughts on the topic and just have this conversation. Speaking of what we have today, for the preview, we're going to have votes. I'm going to show you how people voted on this particular question. I'm going to show you a few videos on the topic. We're going to have a discussion. Okay, so definitely think of some of the questions that you have pertaining to this topic. Definitely, give me your stance on it. I would like to know your stance and why. I would like to know the why behind it, really. We're going to have a live guest, and then we're going to draw some conclusions, or at least we're going to try to, okay? So this is going to be a lot of fun. Go ahead and smash that like button before it gets too late. Share this live stream with someone who can benefit from it. And let's get into it. Let's see who is here, okay? We have Jazz in the house. Hello, Jazz. We have Crystal in the house. Hello, Crystal. We have Lindsay in the house. Hi, Lindsay. We have Heather in the house. Hello. We have Jane in the house. Hi, Jane. We have Katty in the house. Thank you for joining. We have Braina in the house. Hello, hello. Looks like we have Felicia in the house. Hi, Felicia. Palin in the house. Hello. Thank you, every single one of you, for joining live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you're at in the world. So let's get into it. Let's start with some votes. I posted a poll, I think it was maybe Monday or last weekend on Sunday, on Instagram and on Facebook. And you can say surprisingly, 85% people said that yes, it is possible for men and women to be friends. And 15% said no, it's not possible. And what's really interesting, I think majority of voters are women. There are men in that, included in this sample, but the majority, predominant number of voters are women, which is also makes this very interesting. And what it all means, it means that people collectively speaking in the world today believe that it's possible. We think that it's absolutely possible for women and men to be friends. And so we're going to discuss it. Let's start out with some videos. Okay. We're going to look at probably 3 different videos. And I want you to give me your thoughts, your comments, your questions as we watch these videos. Okay. Now I should be able to share a screen. I should have this ability. And I'm going to show you the first video is from another influencer, Matthew Hussey. And the question for this video, the topic is, can men and women just be friends? So let's take a listen. I'm going to turn the volume up. If you cannot hear it, please let me know in the comments, okay? But you should be able to hear it. So let's get into this first video.
Last week, I gave people the chance to ask me anything. And one of the questions that came up was, can men and women just be friends? I answered it somewhat flippantly with a little test, which I'll tell you about at the end of this video. But I wanted to elaborate further on this concept of men and women as just being friends. If we're in a relationship with someone, we don't necessarily feel all that comfortable with them being in friendships with the opposite sex because we're worried that there might be something more there. What if there's attraction there? I want to delve into this a little more because I feel like there is a somewhat childish assumption that our partner will never be attracted to anyone else and shouldn't be attracted to anyone else. And in trying to believe this, we also attempt to suppress the most basic of instincts in our partner, which is their instinct to become attracted to attractive qualities in other people. The thing is, I believe we hang around people that we find attractive. It may be physically attractive. Sometimes we may be attracted to their brain and their intelligence. Other times it's the way they handle themselves. I don't think that it's realistic to assume that we'll never be attracted to qualities in anyone else other than our partner. But what I do believe...
So before he continues, I wanted to make a remark about this. I agree that maybe it's not reasonable to think that we're not going to be attracted to other people. It's absolutely reasonable. My question is, if you're not single, and I make this distinction, if you are not single, would you want to be continuously put yourself in a position to be around people that you are attracted to? I am talking about people of opposite sex now. So, the other words, if you are a woman and you met this guy, you did not know this guy before, you met this guy. Let's just say that you met this guy when you start dating. After you start dating, you're in a relationship, you met this guy through work or through some common friends or what have you, and this guy is clearly attractive. You attracted to the guy. The question becomes, would you want to be around this guy knowing that you're attracted to the guy even though you are in a relationship? Now, me personally, if I'm in a relationship and I am getting into a friendship with an attractive woman, and I put myself constantly in situations and settings where I'm going to be around this attractive woman, then it's going to make it difficult for me as a man to be in that situation. I have to really be critical and ask myself, well, is there something that I can get only out of this friendship that I cannot get anywhere else? Because if the answer is no, I really don't need to be in that friendship. That's my take on it. Because why would I want to be walking through a sort of a trap where I don't have to? Why would I be tempting myself to be in a situation that could end up badly for me in my relationship? Why? What it is in this friendship that I cannot get from friendship with my male friends, or that my girlfriend cannot give me? What is it? Do you understand what I'm saying? This is a lot for men to handle. I don't know how. I would love to know women's opinion on it, but for a man, there's a lot to handle. I would not want to be in that situation. That's just me. Let's see what we have in the comments really quickly before we continue with this video. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Lisa. Thank you all for being here. Couple things before we continue. Lisa said, I believe that we can be friends of the opposite sex. However, as long as there are healthy boundaries, then that's okay. Very good point. We're going to talk about boundaries specifically today. Boundaries is a huge point. So please keep that in mind. Let's see how many likes I have. Let's see how many likes I have. I have 10 likes and 11 people watching. You know what? I'm going to give myself a like so I don't have to put the mask on. But if you're watching, if you didn't give a like, don't be stingy. Smash the like button. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that. Let's see. Heather said, I think for men, they're friends in hopes of it developing into something more, even if it's just a friend with benefit situation. And now a really good point. One video later on actually addresses this exact point, Heather. So keep watching because there's going to be another video that talks about this. So I'm not going to really go in depth on that right now. Lisa said, I'm in a relationship with someone and someone was attractive. If I'm in a relationship with someone and someone was attractive, I would still resist the urge and remind myself that I'm with someone who loves me. My question is, why? Why to go through this agony? Tell me. I want to know. I leave it at that. Why to go through this agony of having an attractive friend that constantly tempts you to do something you're not supposed to do? Why? I want to know. I want to know. Give me your thoughts, please. You are saying that you have no female friends. If so, are they ex-girlfriends? No, I'm not saying that I don't have female friends. The example that I gave you was very specific. The example that I gave you was a situation where I was very attracted, right? Physically attractive to so-called friend while I was in a relationship. I don't think it's a good situation for a man to be in. Right now, I have plenty of friends. And to be honest, it's not just because labeling people, it's where it gets interesting too. I have plenty of people that I talk to on a daily basis. Some of them my audience, right? A lot of you are my audience. I treat you with, respect and professionalism and all of that. Now I have acquaintances, I have coworkers, I have few friends. So there are many different categories of people that in my life, and I try to separate these categories. Thank you for the question. Lot of engagement. I appreciate that. Let's continue with the video, because I think otherwise we're not going to get to it. Thank you. Continue to provide your thoughts, your questions, and we'll go through it. By the way, quickly wanted to say that today's live stream is going to be shorter. My goal is to go between 1 hour to hour and a half. So just to give you heads up, we're not going to do this for 3 hours today. So if you're just joining, just know it's not going to be super long. Still smash this like button. Let's continue with the video. I appreciate your comments. Love it.
Is that it has no bearing on our loyalty. Our loyalty is something that we exercise when we're in a relationship and has nothing to do with the friendships that we have. In other words, you can go out and choose friends who subconsciously, even though you won't admit it, there may be some level of attraction with. You might be attracted to something in that person. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to do anything about it. It just means that that's why you chose them in the first place as a friend, is that you are attracted to something about them. Doesn't mean that you want them over your partner. If your partner has a friendship with someone else, it doesn't mean that they want that person over you. The idea of debating friendships between men and women in terms of is there attraction or isn't there attraction, I think is kind of a naive and childish way to look at it. Of course, there's some attraction in many friendships that are just friendships. Of course there is. We'd be crazy and naive to assume otherwise. The question isn't, can men and women be friends? The question is, are they willing to just be friends? Your partner's loyalty isn't defined by how many people they are not attracted to. Your partner's loyalty is defined by the amount of people they can be attracted to and still be loyal to you, still be in the relationship, still be faithful. That to me is what loyalty is truly about. There's no win, there's no award in someone never being attracted to other people. That just means that you're the only person in the world they're attracted to, and by default they're with you. If they
So I think we get the gist of it. I wanted to kind of address a couple points that he brought up. He said no bearing on loyalty. Being attractive to someone should still have no bearing on loyalty. And then, the question that he posed, are they, even though that people are attracted to each other, even though you might have friends that are very attractive, are you still willing to be friends and not cross the line? And look, I resonate with what he's saying. I think idealistically speaking, these points make perfect sense. The question becomes, do they practically make sense? Is it possible? And I think it's possible. It's not matter whether or not it's possible. It's whether or not that if people will be able to sustain this level of, what's the word, abstinence, not taking an action, not crossing the line, and continue to remain faithful. Because once again, if you have like very nice fruit that hanging on a tree in front of you, and you passing that fruit every single time, sooner or later you're going to be tempted to grab that fruit from that tree. That's my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts on this particular one. I want to go to the next video. I want to read some of your comments and then go to the next video, which is completely different perspective by Steve Harvey. But let's see some comments for Sandra, Lindsay. Hello. Jessica is here. Felicia is still here. Heather still here. Stephanie Romano is here. Spade Adity is here. Jane is here. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. I appreciate that very, very much. Let's see. Crystal said, that's how I've been feeling lately, Heather. I had to cut off a friend because that's all he really wants. I feel like he tries to sabotage my relationship for his hopeful gain. Sometimes you have to cut the friends off. And Crystal, props to you, because if you felt that your friend had those intentions with you and he wanted to wreck home, so to speak, sometimes you have to cut it out. Sometimes you have to put your relationship first and have no second thoughts about it. Let's see. Felicia said, I think a man has a bigger problem than women. Some of the guys I work with are somewhat attractive, but I don't like them like that. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Thank you for sharing. Lindsay said, I don't have any issues being around other men that I find attractive. I may think that you're cute, but that doesn't mean I want anything more. I'm happy with my fiance. Awesome. 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 Thank you for sharing. Heather, I find some men compartmentalize women, family, lover, or someone to ignore. Very, very interesting point. Very interesting point. As if men put women in different categories. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's possible. It's possible. Because they're not fully committed, Stephanie said. Some good conversation. You can be attracted to someone, but acting on that attraction is a whole new level. Yes, it is. 100%. You can do a lot of things to exercise self-control. If you just joining us, smash this like button, share this live stream with someone else. Let's make sure we spread the message and let's continue to learn and grow together. Lisa said, I wouldn't allow myself to go through that. I had chat with my ex, and even when his male friends were attractive, I made it clear that I won't be involved in anything further than friendship. Good communication, setting these expectations, very important. Very important. It cannot be overstated. I think you know what I mean. Jane, I don't understand, sorry, but a friend is a friend. It's different. I don't see the problem. Even if someone is attractive, still a friend. Wonderful point for us to watch the second video, because this is going to kind of address this exact point. So let's take a look. This is Steve Harvey. Most of you know him. So I forwarded to a point where it's relevant. So here we go.
All of my friends are men. I don't have female friends. I don't. I'm incapable of that.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, because come on.
Because you have a wife.
Well, I have a wife, and I don't really have female friends because look. Okay, let's get rid of this myth right here. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this. Let's get rid of this myth. You're an attractive woman. There are some guys somewhere saying, "Yeah, we're friends." No, that's not true. He's your friend only because you have made it absolutely clear that nothing else is happening except this friendship we have. We remain your friends in hopes that one day there'll be a crack in the door, a chink in the armor, and trust and believe that guy that you think is just your buddy, he will slide in that crack the moment he gets the opportunity. Because we're guys.
Think this way?
99.9% of us think that way. And you tell this to a woman, it just blows her back. No, I have male friends. You have male friends because they know it can be nothing else right now. I tell you what, all your male friends, just ask them in a friendly way. If I wanted to date you, would you be okay with that? And watch the fireworks. Watch.
So this is interesting stuff, isn't it? This is super interesting, right? Because I think a couple of you made relevant points about communication, about setting your expectations or managing your expectations from the beginning when it comes to friendship. So the point that he made is, attraction is that factor. It's that unknown factor. Is that if a man is attracted to a woman, yeah, of course he can be in a friendship. He can pretend that he's a friend, or maybe not even pretend. Maybe he can be truly a friend. But if the opportunity arises, man will go to the next level like this. And I think this is the difference between maybe female and male, in the way that I think a lot of women truly think that that's possible. And maybe a lot of women truly think that men have these pure intentions to be friends. But as he said, if you don't think that that's the case, if you think that your so-called male friends are just your friends, do the experiment. Ask them, hey, you know, if given the opportunity to hook up with me, would you hook up with me? If you truly believe that they are your friend, then ask them that question and see what happens. And if they say yes, you have your answer. So don't be surprised if some men say yes. And to actually prove that point further, I'm going to show you another video. If you just join us, be sure to smash this like button, share this on your social media, because we're getting into the meat of this conversation, of this discussion. Is it possible for men and women to be just friends? So before I get to your comments and we'll bring our live guest for today, let me go ahead and play one more video for you that will prove my last point to you. And it's going to be very interesting. So let's watch this thing really quickly. And please comment and let me know your thoughts, okay? So here we go.
Here we are at the Utah State University Library for some interviewing to ask people if they believe that men and women can be just friends. So let's go inside and see what we can find. Do you believe that men and women can be just friends?
Yes. Yeah, of course. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I think it'd be hard to do.
Yes.
I mean, we're all men, so of course we're going to have those feelings, and we can be content with this friendship, and we can be silent regarding those feelings, but we're gonna have them.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I don't believe so. No. I guess what I'm saying is no.
Okay, good. I can't go bacon.
Okay, we'll walk with you. Do you believe men and women can be just friends?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay, do you have any guy friends right now who you're just friends with?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All my best friends are guys. Dave. Trevor. Taylor Mulford. Bobby. Yeah.
How long have you known Trevor?
2 years.
Of those guy friends, do you think any of them secretly like you? And be honest,
Probably, yeah.
do you think that guy is interested in you?
Yes. Okay, maybe you can only be just friends in high school.
Would Dave hook up with you if you gave him the chance?
Well, yeah.
Do you think Trevor liked you?
Yeah.
And
Sure.
would he hook up with you if you wanted to hook up?
Yeah.
So he likes you.
Mhm.
So what you're saying is men and women can't be friends.
No, we can be friends.
But you're just friends, but he likes you.
Yes.
So it's a one-sided friendship.
That was one instance.
If she wanted to hook up, would you hook up?
Oh, totally. Look at her.
Don't be sarcastic. I need the truth.
Seriously, yeah.
All right, there we go. All right, that's perfect. Okay, cut.
Because of physical attraction, it's not possible.
Okay. But you said I just want to be just friends.
Yeah.
Now, do you literally believe that he's not interested in you at all? Yes! That's what I'm talking about. As we can see, after interviewing everyone in the library, it is impossible for men and women to be just friends. And under no circumstances can it happen. That's a wrap.
All right. So this was very cool and entertaining, right? Let me switch the screens over here. This was really cool and entertaining. One thing that I would say I would disagree with, he said that under no circumstances it can happen. I think it can happen. But the attraction is the secret. Not secret. The attraction is the element that will make a difference ultimately. Because as you saw in this video, most women started saying that yes, it's possible. Most men saying no, it's not possible. Now, granted, this video is older. This video is from 2011, and he just went to the Utah State Library, campus, and went to the library to interview random students. So it's a relatively small sample, but you've seen the reaction of people. You've seen the immediate reaction that a man said, no, because if there is attraction, I don't see the possibility of being a friend. And why men say that? Because men know that given the opportunity, when they are with a woman who's attractive, they will take advantage of this situation. Whereas women think, mostly, it seems that, when you with the man, you can have this platonic relationship. So based on this video, it's very interesting to see the difference of opinion between men and women. Let's look at the comments. Let's look at the comments and see what you're thinking. Such a great conversation. I love it. And our live guest will be coming up shortly in about 4 to 5 minutes. So let's get ready for our live guest as well. Jane, I don't understand. Sorry, but a friend is different. I don't see a problem. I think we already had that comment. So I wonder if any of your opinions change after watching some of these videos. Jazz C said, maybe males are only friends with unattractive girls, so they are not tempted. So that could be one interesting point. Can men be friends when attraction is not a factor? And I think that the probability of friendship could exist, but also you have to ask yourself a question: what is this out of this in this friendship that male cannot get out of friendship with other males? This is another interesting point. And I'm not saying that it's impossible, because you can have shared interest. But that attraction, I think it is going to change things. So to your point, Jazz, this is yes. I think that this more likely to happen when attraction is not involved. Jessica said, this is called always choosing your person over everyone else under any circumstances. That's the definition of love and loyalty, of course. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Jazz said, Johnny Depp once said, if you like two people at once, then choose the second one, because if you like the first one, the second one wouldn't have taken your notice. Okay, interesting. Crystal, if someone has me questioning loyalty to a partner, I have to really stop and think, because perhaps the reason I feel that way is a sign there is something wrong, lacking in the current relationship. But is there, though? Is there something lacking in a current relationship just because you met another human being that you physically attracted to? This is my question to you, Crystal. Maybe everything is going well in a relationship, but you see another human being that you simply like, that you're drawn to, physically speaking, or maybe there is some sort of other attraction. I think for a lot of males, it will be physical. For a lot of women, it may be some additional ways to connect. Maybe there is an emotional connection of some sort. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Heather said, I think you have to take hormones into consideration. Testosterone comes into play with men's attraction and wanting to have sex and that whole deal. I'm being very surface here. Yes, 100%. You have to account. I mean, that this is part of it. This is a huge part of it, because for guys, we are driven by hormones in a lot of times, and we do make poor decisions sometimes based on our testosterone, right? It's a known fact. So absolutely, if we see somebody that we are super attracted to physically, we're going to act on it. Before we continue, let's see how many likes I got, because I know sometimes we have those ghost watchers. You know how that goes. Those ghost watchers, 16 likes and 20 people watching. 16 likes. So it's time for me to do some ghost hunting action. Maybe I'll just sit here before I get some more likes, because we have some people who like to watch things, but they don't like to give out likes. And all you have to do is just smash the like button. How difficult it is to smash the like button. Where are you, ghosts? Where are you? Let me look for you. Let me see if I can find you. Let me see. Where are you, ghosts? Where are you? Oh, that was quick. That was quick. We got up to 19 likes super quickly. We have friendly ghosts today. Hey, good point. But yes, women can see an attractive man and not desire him. Please explain. Please explain this point to me a little bit further. When you say attractive man and not desire him, why? Why you wouldn't desire him? How do you would make that determination? Yes, I want the man, or no, I don't want the man, when things being equal, meaning that when man is attractive, what makes the difference? Let's see. We have some awesome comments. Live guest, if you're around, feel free to join. I will bring you on. I hope you could hear the video sound. Let's see, another one from Heather. Yuri, those female friends you have, do you call them regularly and hang out, or they are more like acquaintances? No, they are more like acquaintances. I have one common friend, one common female friend, actually, through my best friend Michael and his girlfriend, and we're friends by association. And we mostly hang out when we're around Michael and his girlfriend. So I still consider her friend. I mean, consider her friend, but a lot of it has to do because we kind of had this same foundation. We started from being common friends through other people, and because we're not attracted to each other, therefore we have those boundaries set. Lisa said, I also believe that when it comes to boundaries, they must be made clear in the very beginning. I value boundaries, and I don't believe in crossing them. The first conversation is about boundaries. Very, very valuable point. If you set your boundaries with another person and people know exactly where they stand with each other, that's going to help out your cause big, big time. There is no doubt about it. Jane said, I would not do that. Some of my friends are like brothers to me. They are even married. That would be disrespectful to ask that. I think it's in response to Heather. She would get a more honest response if she says, do you want to hook up? And look, you can experiment, ladies. You can experiment, and you can really ask a guy, hey, given the opportunity, would you want to have some sort of intimate relationship or intimate interaction with me, or would you want to be friends with benefits? Ask that question if you really want to know, because we can debate this all day, but until you actually ask that question, chances are you're not going to know. Okay, we have our special guest over here. I'm going to bring her on. Welcome. Hi, Piazza. How are you?
Hey, how are you guys? I was reading all your comments and they're so awesome.
Thank you for joining. I really appreciate that. So please tell me a little bit about you, and tell the audience a little bit about you, and what are your take on this particular topic? Can men and women be just friends?
So about me, I've been listening to Yuri's podcasts and live streams for like 3 or 4 months now, and I like the way he does it, and I have learned a lot about understanding men better, and I hope all the ladies out there, they are also getting some very useful tips to understand how men think about women and how women think about men. Because I saw some of Yuri's videos, and it seems like men say more often that women can be friends. But women think that men can be friends because they have this emotional connection. Women always want a man around them, like their father, their brother, their cousins, and, you know, everything. So, well, I do believe that there are boundaries to which you can be friends, and then past that you become friends with benefits or something more casual. But I think, in a nutshell, men and women can be friends with boundaries. What do
So
you think?
I'm glad that you brought it up. Thank you, by the way, for watching the channel, and I'm super happy to hear that you get value out of it. But let's talk about the boundaries, because I think we actually had quite a few comments regarding that particular topic, and I want to dive in deeper. What are these boundaries? What exactly do people need to do? Or you can talk from a woman perspective, obviously, but what needs to be said or done in order to define this as friendship?
Well, see, just going out and hanging out with a guy alone sometimes can be embarrassing, if you are really attracted to him or he's really attracted to you. But if you're hanging out in groups, I think there is so much more interaction with a guy who is a friend, and with women and men having different points of views about love and relationship. I think it's good mostly for, especially for single women, to be around men. But yes, if I go out eating dinner or something, like walk around by the beach just with a guy, I might feel his male energy in a sexual way. But to the point that if I do not feel his male energy and his hormones and everything, I think I would be comfortable being around a guy. What do you think? With a woman around you?
So you basing this whole thing like on your innate feeling of the energy and kind of how things flow. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So you wouldn't necessarily have a conversation with the guy and talk about boundaries in the very beginning, or how you would define friendship or your expectations.
I mean, isn't it super rude to tell you, Yuri, I just want you as my friend? I mean, it's not like that I would just go up front and tell a guy, hey, I just want you to be my friend.
So isn't that super rude for a guy? Wouldn't you think that it would be rude for a guy to make a move on you after 2 months of being so-called friends? Wouldn't you be upset if guy try to approach you in a romantic way, because guy thought that the opening is there?
If he did it, I would explain to him about my boundaries, that hey, I have another person in my life, and I might even talk to him before 2 months that I have a boyfriend or somebody else in my life, and I cannot get close to you that way. It's not that I would turn him down if he asked me out on a date who is my friend and I know him. That's the best situation, I think, to pick a partner.
So you would be, in other words, you would be willing, if you're in the current relationship, if you have a relationship, you would be willing to have another male friend, that attractive guy, and that you were attracted to.
Yes. I mean, attracted to, meaning, as I told you, until unless I'm really alone with him in a room or doing something with him. So far as we are in groups or in public places, like working on our stuff, like doing homework, working on projects together, I'm perfectly okay with having a male friend. What's wrong with
So,
it?
so then if you do that, are you saying, let me just make sure I understand, are you saying that you would not be comfortable with him alone, as like hang out with one-on-one situation, like friends do, and go out to grab a drink or just have like play board games or have a conversation? You would not necessarily be okay in that setting with the guy, with the
Yeah,
friend?
yeah, yeah, not in my bedroom, but if we go out in a club or a lounge or, somewhere in a public place, I wouldn't mind it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I probably should have asked that question in very beginning, but like, how would you define friendship with the opposite sex? And when I say define, like, give me some specific examples. What would be like, I know we talked about boundaries in general, and you kind of describe it in a very general sense, but how would you define friendship with the male? What would it look like? Because I think we're getting to the point. You kind of gave me the last examples, like, yeah, if we go out to a public place together, that's fine. But so what I'm trying to understand, what is the definition of it? What things are, I guess, appropriate, not appropriate, but your definition of the friendship with the opposite sex?
Not appropriate is more evident if one of us is in a relationship. It might be that the guy that I'm hanging out with, he has a long distance partner or something, and then I would have to put limits to being close to him, depending on how much time he has available for his partner and to be with me, and then the other things that we both want to do. But other than that, I think a man friend and a woman friend has no difference. Like, I go out dancing, I always dance with men, and we're very good friends. We go to the same parties, and yeah, we meet probably every weekend or every other weekend, and we are friends.
Cool. Thank you for joining. No, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. No, it's very cool to hear, like, another person's opinion, especially live, especially when asking like follow-up questions, because I think we just all think differently as human beings, and we perceive things differently. But I think sharing these opinions is important, to understand each other. So thank you for taking the time. Do you have any questions or any remarks? Because that's pretty much all I had for you. So thank you so much for jumping in, Piazza.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll write them down in your chat if I have any. Okay?
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. Have a great day, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye. This was cool. This was really cool. So I think what I'm gathering is, look, we're gonna, I think, I don't want to say just genders. I think individuals will think differently and feel differently about relationships. Because if you ask me, if I'm being completely honest, if I'm dating another girl and she has an attractive friend, and I somehow will end up in a place with her friend, especially by myself, this is just not a good environment to be for me to be in. It's not even the fact that, some of you might say, oh, what, you can't be loyal? Oh, what? It's not even that. I can be loyal. Why put yourself in a position where you are tempted? And I think this is the difference in how men think versus how women think. Again, this is not absolute. This is just how I feel, as a man. And I can see, like, from what Piazza said, I think women are a little bit more different in that regard, But let's see some comments. Let's see some comments again. Wonderful, wonderful conversation. I love this. I love this, love this, love this. Thank you for hanging out. Strong Ballerina said, if I knew Yuri better, I would ask him to call me so I could test Steve Harvey's theory. You can ask me, or you can come online, Strong Ballerina. How about that? Why do I need to call you when you can just join live and share your opinion? Don't be scared. Oh, man. Fun times. Brainer said, I guess if the man really loves his wife, he will never cheat. My dear friend let her husband and I alone at their house and went to another city. I joked about it, and she said she truly believes us. And nothing really happened. I helped him to make a delicious spaghetti at the end, and we 3 ate it. That sounds like a happy end story. I like that. But to your previous point, unfortunately, men cheat. Allegedly, even when they love their wives. And the question becomes, I'm sure that some of you will say, well, they not truly love their wives. Is it possible for men to truly love someone and cheat? Heather made a point previously that people, not people, man, compartmentalize, distinguish, that men distinguish their relationships with different women. And it might sound crazy, but why a lot of men cheat? I don't believe that all men that cheat don't love their wives. I think that some of them truly love their wives, but they were not able to. I'm not defending them. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but they still cheated at the end of the day. It happens. It happens. It doesn't make it right, but it happens. What a juicy, juicy topic, yo. What a juicy topic. Thank you all for hanging out and for being here. Looks like we have Diane in the house, Lindsay in the house still. We have Sam in the house. We still have Jazz in the house, Heather in the house, Chris is in the house. Thank you all very, very, very much. Crystal still in the house. Piazza, thank you for joining live and still watching. Lisa still in the house. I appreciate you. Jane in the house. Thank you all very, very, very much for hanging out with me. Triphara Yazrael in the house. Such a cool name. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Chris said, my ex was always jealous of him, but my best friend has girlfriend who I am very good friends too. I was never be into him. He's like big brother to me. Yeah, I think like a lot of women use that word brother, you know, which is interesting to me, which is also, Piazza brought up that point that women like to be around men, and that men reminiscent maybe of some other male figures in their past, such as brothers, fathers, and so on and so forth. So it's interesting to hear these comments, because maybe a lot of women do perceive males in those roles, kind of a family brotherly role. Let's see. By the way, this is my first time joining you today. I usually try to catch your lunch lives on Instagram, but I always miss them because I'm at work. Well, thank you so much for joining. Timpara Israel, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Let's see. La Dulce. For women, it's possible to have only friend feeling, but for guys, they see body first. So please be aware if your boyfriend or husband have female friend. For me, my husband is a must not to have it. I don't disagree. Look, we talk about that on previous live streams. I talk about it in my videos. This is a real thing. I think it's hard for women to understand it because women wired are very different, completely differently from men in that regard. Woman does not see a man walking in the street and start licking her chops, just go, I can't, I want to sleep with him right now. Men do that. Men are physical creatures. Biology is part of it. You might hate that fact, but male biologically created to pass the gene. It's engraved in us. Do I say again, do I justify cheating? No, I don't. That's not what we're doing here. I'm just simply explaining to you man's biology. When a man sees very attractive female across the street, male, doesn't need to have emotional connection in order to really feel attraction and want that female immediately. That's just how it goes, ladies. So think twice. What I'm telling you is that if you have attractive friends and you have a man, some females will try to test the man and introduce them to friends and things like that. You can be your own judge. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you that your man is going to be tempted. Whether you like it or not, your man is going to be tempted. So if you don't want your man to be tempted, don't introduce your friend to your nice looking girlfriend. Don't do that unless you have intention of including her in a relationship, which probably most people will not. All right. And if you are look, if you really in a situation where you're listening to this or you're saying, oh, that's a bunch of BS, like guys should be loyal during any circumstances. Let's be honest here. Women cheat too. Women cheat in a different way. Women are very opportunistic. When they around men that they see value, however they define it, it's not going to be obvious, but women go for it too. And a lot of times, man, the boyfriend or husband will never know. That is the difference too, because as male, it's dumb. It's like, oh, we see a nice friend or a nice neighbor. Oh, we'll sleep with them. And then our girlfriend finds out, like, because it's easy to find that information. Men don't cover their tracks very well. Whereas women, you're never going to know. But point being that both genders cheat. Okay? What I'm trying to say for females, if you really want to test your man, you might regret it later. I think that in order for men to be faithful, there has to be bond established. And if the bond is not established, if you're just starting to date, and if you start testing your man, that's not a good idea. It takes time to establish, this very strong relationship, the loyalty and trust takes time to establish. It doesn't happen overnight. So my opinion, my suggestion to you, don't be playing with fire. Don't be testing your man and putting him in a situation where he might do something that he regrets. And some of you will disagree, and which is fine. Thank you, La Dolce Vita. This is great. Lisa said, another thing that I found helped me was not to think of all men as romantic partners first. See them first as strangers, then if there is a connection, then friends first. Yes, this is a good one. I think friendship is a very good way to go. Friendship, when I say friendship, meaning getting to know each other first. You both single, and you both spending time together, and you finding out whether or not you can really hang out and have a good time first, and then build from there. Crystal said, I was in a really bad relationship a long time ago and found myself wanting to be with someone else because the new person wasn't emotionally abusive and genuinely like spending time with them. At the end of the day, it's about spending time together and whether or not you can hang out together. The intimate part of a relationship fades away rather quickly if there is nothing else to this relationship. If I can go to the park with you and have a great picnic together and just laugh and enjoy my day with you, this is what will help to solidify the relationship. Intimate part is an icing on a cake. It's not the cake. Although a lot of people treat it as cake. And that's why I think many people end up with a very messed up relationships. Because sex cannot be foundation of a relationship. Sorry. I'm over it 40 years ago and my ex-boyfriend is married to her, so it's okay. I forgive them even hard. I think it was a previous comment. Sorry, I missed it. Not sure what it is in regards to. I didn't cheat or anything. I wouldn't, but I had to take a long, hard look at the current relationship and finally admit how much I hated it and how bad the situation was. I just literally made me think. I'm glad that you got out of it. Jazz said, I'm actually really intimidated by men, so I am more likely to be friends with guys who are more nerdy and gentle, as I don't find them as intimidating. Look, everyone approach things differently. And you can be friends with people that you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with guy, you don't have to be involved with the guy. And you can always start with conversation. I think that if we communicate with people in a certain way, if we assert ourselves in a relationship, whatever that relationship is, whether it's friendship, acquaintances, co-workers, or romantic relationship, if we insert ourselves a certain way in a relationship as person that will not be tolerating disrespect, this is the way, in my opinion, how you have to insert yourself in a relationship. In my last blog post, by the way, for those of you who haven't checked out my website, lovemanual.com, I'm blogging. So let me do the shameless plug really quickly. This is my website, mylovemanual.com. I am blogging now. And one of the articles that I wrote, one of the blog posts, that I've made this week was about this subtle signs that your first date sucks. And in that blog post, you can read it, but premise is what I'm getting at is that point made by point that I was making earlier just now, the fact that I'm trying to insert myself a certain way when I'm going on dates. I'm to the point in my life where I don't want to deal with people who arrive late on dates. I don't want to be dealing with people who just talk about their previous relationships because it shows disregard for our current situation. I don't want to be certainly don't want to be dealing with people who are disrespectful. Why? Because I value myself and I know my own worth, and I give respect to other people. And if I sleep and I don't, then I deserve not to have them also. That's my take on it. So to me, when you're approaching these situations with people, my point being, you can assert yourself in any situation a certain way, in the way that you think you should be treated as a person, and you can communicate with confidence, and it changes things. Jane said, Yuri, have you ever heard a group of women talk about men? I have, Jane. I have. That's all I'm going to say. La Dulce, of course, some women cheat too. I had a friend said she's okay to have sex with her girlfriend's ex because they already ex. But for me, I would never do that to my friend. Maybe I'm a classic woman. Yes. Some women will do that. A lot of men will still hook up with their exes. That's not something unusual. That's not something unusual. People are driven by pleasures. Whether you like it or not, we trying to maximize pleasures and get away from pain. And what is sex? Sex gives an enormous amount of pleasure, and that's drawing people in. And if you're not careful, it could lead to wrong situations in a lot of cases. So just in general, it takes effort to override these opportunities to maximize pleasure, I would say. Thank you for your comment. It looks like you have another one. For me, when a boyfriend or girlfriend, husband and wife want to meet with the opposite friend gender, they should go together. They shouldn't meet only just both of them. You all know that. The funny thing, so La Dolce Vita, where are you watching from? By the way, give me a comment. Where are you watching from right now? What country? Give me a comment. La Dolce, in United States, the culture is so open, is that some people will be okay with that. But I think it's naive. Personally, I think it's naive, whether you're man or woman, to just send your significant other on a date with the opposite sex. That's me. I wouldn't do it. I would not do that. It's dangerous to neglect intimacy. Intimacy isn't always sex, but it's an important ingredient. Ask any therapist. I don't think that you should neglect intimacy. I think intimacy is an amazing part of a relationship. I just think it needs to be done at appropriate times with appropriate people. Now, I would like to ask a question for the audience. If your guy friend has a girlfriend, would you get jealous and cut off the friendship, or would you stay? Anyone can answer. If your guy friend has a girlfriend, when you say guy friend, meaning your boyfriend, actually, right? Your man has a girlfriend. Would you get jealous and cut off the relationship? If my woman has a man friend, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. For me, I would really pay attention to the woman. I would. There are signs. There are signs in how that woman communicates with other people. And I don't think maybe you will know for sure her intentions. You might never know that part of it. But you can tell, how people, generally how flirtatious people are. You can tell how they behave around other people, not about around you, around other people. You can spend a little bit more time with them and hear what they're telling you about this other relationship. You can kind of gather all the information, and then just make the best decision that you can. I don't think that would be black or white type of approach here, all or nothing type of approach. I think it's situational. I think that there are plenty of women who, may be able to manage that appropriately. And as a man, when you're too jealous, you become unattractive to the opposite sex. So you have to make a decision. You have to make the best decision based on information that you have. And you have to live with that decision later. Roman or Raman, no any friendship between ex. This is Russian style. Yes, it is. It's prevalent in Russia that once you over the relationship, it's over. No more. Strong ballerina, intimacy fades quickly if you let it. It's part of the package. Trust, love, loyalty, intimacy, etc. Leave an important ingredient out and see what happens. They're all part of the recipe. Yes, they are all part of a recipe. But the question becomes which part of a recipe is more important to start the recipe with. Because if you're making mashed potatoes, and if you start boiling onion, or not onion, bad example. If you start boiling milk before potatoes are done, it's going to be a shitty meal. So the order of ingredients, order of execution, or how you build your relationship makes sense. Same with having children, right? Most of you would agree that it would not be a good idea to have a children before marriage. A lot of people do. And a lot of people end up with broken homes. I know I'm generalizing, but order matters. Order matters. Heather said, I would definitely keep my eyes open for signs of flirting. I wouldn't tell him what to do, though. And I definitely don't want them hanging out without me. If I thought their friendship was crossing a line, I would bring it up to him. I like that. I like that. I have guy friends who have wonderful girlfriends, and I'm so happy for them. Conversely, I had a friend who would always be jealous and miserable, and if I'm dating someone, so I cut them off. Piazza said, I agree with it. I don't like staying in touch with my ex. Good stuff. Good stuff. La Dolce, I would never want to be a friend with a guy who has girlfriend or wife. I don't want to give bad feeling to other women. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Heather said, I misread and thought you meant my man having a girlfriend. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Strong Ballerina, I think you need to have an open and honest conversation with your partner. Yes, you do. We talk about communication all the time. Yes, you do. 100%. You need to set the expectations. You need to manage expectations. And this is the hardest thing, I think, because you can have this conversation and come across like a very aggressive person, and that's going to destroy trust. I think when you just start dating, for the first month, these discussions to be had, that's an important part of the whole ordeal. You have to voice those things. You can't assume another person will know these things from both ends. You have to say these things that are important to you, because if person agrees to that, and by the way, if person doesn't say anything when you say that, they kind of agree by default. Is it right or not? It doesn't have to be in writing with signature. It just has to be communicated, and it has to be confirmed that they understand that. And at that point, if they go and assuming that this is an important part, right? You can identify a number, maybe 3 to 5 things that are deal breakers that are important in your relationship, right? And when you communicate these things, these deal breakers to another person, if another person chooses not to honor these deal breakers, assuming that they agreed to honor them previously, then you have the answer about that person. That's my take on it. Good stuff. What time we have? 1:08. We're going to be wrapping up quickly. Appreciate everyone being here. It's been so much fun. Yuri, as a man, how do you know when you want to just have a fling with a girl or be in a longer relationship? Oh, man. Well, I mean, physical attraction is always a factor. I also think of my current situation, and whether or not I want to put in effort at the time, because even a fling might require effort, and also it really comes down to the person. It comes down to a woman. The question becomes, do I deem that person worthy of a relationship, or I don't deem that person worthy of a relationship? And go from there. Some of those things are more matter of your perception of the energy exchange. Sometimes you have a conversation, you have that connection with the person. It's not about the list. It's not about the checklist. It's about like, oh, this conversation was nice. She seemed nice. She makes me feel good, talking with her. I have not make me feel good. I have a good feeling talking to her. The vibe is there, that makes me want to learn more about her. Okay. So what do you do? Who are you? What are your interests? What are you looking for? And then it just goes from there. And sometimes, you can tell on the first date, you can tell most likely whether or not there is a potential. Thank you for your question. Let's see. I think there's a few more really interesting ones. Me and my girlfriends end up being friends. Then we're all friends and hang out together. So there is no need to be jealous or cut anyone off. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. I'm skipping some comments, sorry. Strong Ballerina said, I was talking about intimacy within a committed relationship or marriage. Okay, I got you. I understand. Yes, then in that case, all these things that you mentioned, I would agree they need to be in there. Opposite sex friendships can be a little tricky. Personally, I think it's best not to put yourself in an awkward situation, and also you should take your partner feelings into consideration. I'm European, but I'm from Asia. People should respect their spouse. I'm not changing my opinion. Wife and husband should meet opposite friends only when they're alone. I love it. I love everyone's opinion. I love the way we share thoughts. If I met a man and we ended up in a long-term relationship, I would be open and communicate to him my friendship and make him understand that me and H, what is H? Talk to each other. Me and him talk to each other in a way that only we get. I'm not sure what you mean by H. My guy and I once had a funny but honest conversation where we essentially warned each other about our friends who might try flirting with other person or something. Yes, this is a good one. This is a good conversation to have. Awareness, my friends, awareness is everything. Could not agree more. You are right. We can't lie that mostly opposite gender friendship mostly takes some feeling of one of them. What if your partner says they don't mind just to be polite, agreeable? Someone that is passive will not speak up. Yeah, you're getting into these things now, Strong Ballerina, to where you can never know at the end of the day how people feel. You have to go on. You have to kind of go on good faith, in good faith, because you don't have the lie detector in your brain. You're not gonna know sometimes when people lie. You just can't make the best decision that you can with the information that you have at the time. That's all you can do. We promised each other not to leave each other alone with any of those friends, mine or his, because they are too wild and we wouldn't know what to do and be awkward. Now, look, this is a good example. This is example. Good. Thank you, Crystal. This is example where a couple can communicate. You can actually talk about these things. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You sit down and you have these conversations. You share these things with each other. Look, baby, that's how I feel. Baby, I understand. Good idea. Maybe we shouldn't be alone with people who are wild and who's going to put us in potential bad situation. Okay, we're on the same page. Great. Not that hard, right? And then just see what happens. See if you both can uphold this. Before I joined this live, I thought that having a guy would be simple, but from the conversation with you and your audience, I see there is more to it than I thought. And this is the reason we're doing it, to open up other possibilities and to create a conversation, to spark ideas, to spread knowledge. This is exactly why we're doing it. So I'm happy to hear that. Crystal said we would save each other from those awkward situations. That's wonderful. That really is wonderful. Jazz said, yes, I think I'm going to end up a spinster. I never heard that word before. Spinster with a bunch of cats. Relationships sound hard. I think you're very young to give up on relationships. You're like in your 20s, aren't you? If assuming you're going to live until 90 or 100, which is a fair assumption given the current state of events in the world, don't you think you can give yourself a little more time to grow and to figure things out? I think you're giving up too early, Jazz. Heather, also watch the playback if you missed the video clips you replayed. Yes, please do. Heather responded, Jazz, there is a lid for every pot. No worries. Your mate is out there and it will feel meant to be. I'm preaching to myself also. Look, my friends, There is a lid to every pot. If you believe it, and it's not only about belief, it's about acting a certain way, right? What I mean by that is meaning being yourself. And this is a learning process. People act like life is a destination, as if we're supposed to know what to do in our 20s and in our 30s, as we're supposed to have this whole thing figured out. And I just don't see it. Life is a journey, like it's a learning journey. There are too many different opinions and desires and things that people want. It's not just about what we want, it's about what other people want too, and understanding how to operate with other people. Point being, we can't give up on ourselves, first of all. If we give up on ourselves, if we're going into the dating market with the attitude that, hey, I'm not, I'm not good enough, or I'm probably going to end up alone. This is going to carry, a certain energy that a lot of people not going to connect with. So you got to figure out your own way to, to feel comfortable with where you're at and who you are, I guess. But I love the way that we support each other here. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Thank you for that comment. H is my friend who I'm just using their initial to protect their privacy. Got you. Jazz, I'm 29. Look, Jazz, 29 is very young. Okay. You might meet somebody tomorrow that you will connect with and that you will have family with. You might meet somebody in 5 years. Who knows? I think the things we talk about here is important, because even though I'm going to make some conclusions here in a second regarding this topic, I think we got to put ourselves out there at the end of the day. If we want a relationship, if we want something out of life when it comes to our partner, we have to push ourselves out of the comfort zone. These things just not going to happen on their own, I believe. And my dear friend, 29 years old, it's only 1/3 of life. You have most of life in front of you. The question is so don't expect to know everything and to have everything figured out by the time you're 30. You're not supposed to. But with that being said, also my suggestion is, open up to the world, and world will open up to you. It's just a matter of, I think, knowing what is good for you and what's not good for you. I love it. Let's draw some conclusions, shall we? Let's draw some conclusions about this topic. Can men and women be friends? And the answer is, it depends. You've seen some videos, excuse me, you've seen some videos where majority of men stated that it's not possible. You've seen some videos from another big time influencer. When I say another, I don't mean I'm a big time influencer. I'm just saying another influencer who is big time. In his opinion, it's possible. You've seen a video from Steve Harvey who said it's not possible. We did a poll and we talked about poll results, which 85% of voters said yes, it's possible, and 15% said no. So majority of people do believe that. And we also share our own perspectives and opinions on this particular topic. And what it comes down to me is whether or not two people can make it work, the friendship between men and women. I do believe that men will have a difficult time, generally speaking, to have, what's the word, platonic? Platonic is when it's like genuine, right? So to have an honest friendship with the woman when attraction is there, I think it's going to be more challenging for men to be part of that friendship, because given the opportunity, man will take the opportunity to be intimate with that so-called friend. For women, on the other hand, it seems that a lot of women feel comfortable knowing that guys could be attracted to them, yet they still comfortable have them as friends and have them in friend zone. Now, I'm not saying all, maybe some women don't feel comfortable and won't do it, but I think there is a fair number of women that are aware from that video that you've seen in the library where a guy was interviewing college students. They were aware that some of these so-called friends of theirs, guy friends, will hook up with them given the opportunity. Yet they still said, we're friends. That is why I was asking Piazza when she joined live, how do we define friendship? And I think that's what it comes down to. If we define friendship as two people who don't even have intention, attraction, or desire to be anything more than friends, then yes, I think it's possible. I think it's hard to come by, because one of the people, whether it's a man or female, could have those type of feelings, not even feelings, just intentions towards another person. And as you've seen from the video, the men are willing to wait, and men willing to say that they're going to be your friends. And women, in a lot of cases, are willing to have men in the friend zone, knowing that they want to be more than friends. So this is what it comes down to. Comes down to intention and what are you comfortable with as a person. If you're comfortable as a woman to be a friend with a guy who, given the opportunity, will be intimate with you, be my guest. But is this really friendship? That's the next logical question. Is that what you're going to frame it at? Is that what you're going to call it? You're going to call a friendship to an individual who actually sees you secretly as more than friend. For guys, if you are hanging out with a woman that you're attracted to, and given the opportunity, you would take chance to be intimate with that woman, or you simply put want that woman, are you going to call that friendship? I think in America, we get away with it. Let's call it as is. There is many people that introduce other individuals that they mess around with as friends. Oh, this is my friend. Well, in reality, it's not your friend, but it's not your girlfriend. It's not your wife. You have a casual relationship. And in a lot of cases, this is what this culture has become. I'm speaking of American culture, USA. I don't speak for other countries right now. I speak for the United States of America because I lived it, I continue to live it, and I know what's going on behind the scenes. So look, if people want to pretend, people can continue to pretend. There's a lot of cases where people will pretend that they are friends. That's how they're going to introduce themselves. But in reality, that's not what's going on. Point being, understand the intention and set the boundaries and define what the friendship is. If you're not comfortable have a friend who desiring you in a romantic way, then don't pretend that it's friendship, because it's not. If you are comfortable to have a guy friend or to have a girlfriend, works both ways, who you know is interested in you more than a friend. If you're comfortable in that predicament and you both okay with it, fine, call it friendship. But excuse me, wow. But everyone will define it differently. And that's what it comes down to for me. The definition is not the same. The definition of friendship is not the same across the board. Plain and simple. And I think that's why when we're having these conversations, it's important to define what this is for every person. Or not for every person, just to define and have one definition in general that we're talking about. Let me read some comments before we get out of here. What time is it? 1:27. I promised that it will be over by 1:30. So I want to be able to honor my word. Thank you for everyone who is joining. I see Fi. I see Andrea. I still see Heather. I still see Strong Ballerina. Thank you all very much. Thank you to Jazz. Thank you to Braina. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Timpara. Thank you to La Dolce. Thank you, Piazza, for joining live. Thank you for Roman. Thank you for Jane. Thank you, Lindsay, for joining. Thank you, Lisa, for commenting. Felicia was here earlier. Thank you all so very much. It was a really fun one. Let's make it shorter. Next week, let me make sure I announce the next week live stream. It's going to take place on Saturday, July. Let me correct that because that's clearly not June. July. We're going to be headed into Independence Day, USA. So next live stream, Saturday, July 3rd, 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Why my man does not care. That's the topic of the next live stream. Please, let's have a discussion again. Send some ideas. I will be looking at some other videos. I will see if anyone wants to join. Please contact me on Instagram. Send me a direct message if you would like to be a live guest. If you have some experiences with a man who was either disrespectful or who didn't care, or maybe you suspect that he doesn't care, or maybe you thought he didn't care, but in reality he did care. Any those type of stories would be appreciated. Any kind of these personal experiences would be super cool to hear from you. So please mark your calendars for the next live stream, Saturday, July 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. We're going to talk about why my man does not care. This is another juicy topic coming up your way. Yes, it will be very interesting, and I hope you all be able to join. My friends, thank you all so very much for joining. I appreciate you engaging with me. I appreciate you commenting, hanging out. You could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here, and I appreciate that. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I hope you do something that you enjoy to do. Have fun, relax. I don't even know what else to say. Just enjoy your weekend. And I will be seeing you next week. Don't forget that lives on Instagram going to take place still Monday through Friday. We're going to continue connecting. So if you're not on my Instagram, join Russian Prototype so you can join these live streams. They usually take place between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, USA. Don't forget the website. I'm going to be posting more blogs. So let's engage on the conversation, in the conversation on the website, through the blog. Please leave me a comment on my blog. If you haven't smashed the like button for this stream, please smash a live button for this live stream. It helps the engagement. It helps to promote the video. What else, my friends? I think we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of great comments. Great conversation. Thank you all so much for joining. I cannot wait to see you on my website. I cannot wait to see you on YouTube videos next week. I cannot wait to connect with you on lives on my Instagram channel during lunchtime. I cannot wait to see you next weekend and talk about why my man does not care. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Take care of yourself and your families. I will see you guys later. Bye.